Imagine it's your first day as a regional manager. The CEO walks in and drops a massive stack of employee salary records onto your desk. They want to know one thing. What does the typical employee make here? If you just stare at those thousands of individual rows, you will quickly drown in numbers. A giant list of raw data on its own does not give you any immediate insight. To give your CEO an accurate answer, you need a way to summarize all that noise. You need a tool to find the exact middle of your data. In statistics, the process of hunting down this typical middle value is called measuring central tendency. Finding that true center prevents you from giving the CEO a dangerously misleading answer. But there is a catch. There isn't just one single mathematical way to calculate it. Let's start by extracting a tiny, manageable sample from your database. We will pull just 12 employee salaries, sorted from lowest to highest, starting at $30,000 and going all the way up to $110,000. The most common way to find the center is the mean. This is the standard average. You simply add up every single salary value and then divide that total by the number of employees. Let's do the math. Adding our 12 salaries totals $696,000. Divided by 12, we get a mean of $58,000. But look closely. One executive makes $110,000. In statistics, a number sitting far outside the normal group is an outlier. Because the mean mathematically counts every single dollar, that one massive salary pulls the entire average up. If you report $58,000 to the CEO, you are making them think the typical worker earns a lot more than they actually do. When your data is stretched out by extreme values, you need a different tool. This brings us to the median. The median represents the exact physical middle value in an ordered list. To find the median, line up our 12 salaries in order. Since 12 is an even number, we zoom in on the middle two, $52,000 and $56,000. Averaging those together gives us a median of $54,000. Notice how that giant $110,000 outlier has absolutely no power here. The median only cares about a number's position in the line, completely ignoring raw size. By ignoring the heavy weight of the extremes, the median of $54,000 gives the CEO a much more honest picture of what the typical employee actually takes home. Sometimes you do not want an average at all. You just want to know what happens most often. That brings us to our third measure, the mode. The mode focuses on frequency. To find it, you simply scan your list of salaries to see which exact number repeats the most times. If we look back at our 12 employees, a salary of $52,000 shows up twice, and a salary of $70,000 also appears exactly twice. Datasets can have ties. Because we have two numbers tied for the most frequent, our specific salary list is called bimodal, meaning it has two distinct modes. The mode is the best tool when the CEO needs to know the absolute most common repeating experience in the company, rather than a blended mathematical average. This infographic shows how central tendency is a complete toolkit with three distinct methods, rather than a single rigid rule. Look at the red box on the left. To get the mean, you add everything up and divide. It gives you a clean average, but it is highly sensitive to extreme outliers. In the center green box, we have the mode. This simply looks for the most common value, essentially measuring popularity. Finally, the blue box on the right outlines the median. You arrange the data in order and pick the physical middle, making it your safest bet for skewed data. With all three tools calculated, you return to the CEO's office. You explain that while the mean average is $58,000, a few executive outliers are pulling that number up. You show them that the median of $54,000 is a much more accurate reflection of the typical worker. You've answered the question, backed it up with data, and proved your worth as a manager.